Vandeham Sri Guru.
The following is a lecture given by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, recorded on the 17th of March, 1971, in Bombay, India.
Sri Rupam Chakrajatam.
There are many satsanga societies, but in Europe and America, Western countries, this is the only. And they have very kindly joined us. So to serve them is our first business. So we are talking of teachings of Lord Chaitanya to Sanatana Goswami. Sanatana Goswami was one of the very responsible ministers in the then government of Bengal. And as minister, he was a learned scholar, both in Sanskrit and Arabic. So he resigned his post as minister and wanted to join Lord Chaitanya in his Sankirtan movement. And he had some difficulties to get out of the responsible position. The Nawab, Hussain Shah, was very much counting upon his assistance. Generally, the Mohammedan kings, they were dependent on Hindu ministers. I have heard that in this Bombay city, Aga Khan, his establishment and management were all Hindu officers. I do not know whether it is a fact. Is it a fact?
Sure.
Yes. They know that Hindus can manage very intelligently. They are not extravagant. So, Sanatana Goswami was favored by Lord Chaitanya by instructing him for 2 months. He created 2-3 lieutenants for preaching his cult. One of them was Rupa Goswami, one of them was Sanatana Goswami, the chief of the Goswamis. And he talked with also Ramananda Rai, another stalwart. He was also statesman. He was governor of Madras on behalf of the then king of Orissa, Maharaj Pratapruddha. He was very powerful king. The Mohammedans, the Pathans, they practically conquered all over India, but they could not enter Orissa. He was a very strong king. And in those days, Madras was under the Orissa government. So another responsible officer. So he was another big officer, governor. He also joined Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And these two brothers, Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami, they were ministers in the government of Hussain Shah. They also joined. And Raghunath Das Goswami, he was also a big zamindar, landlord. So he also joined. And a big scholar, he also from Madras, like Gopal Bhatta Goswami. And Jiva Goswami, he was also a very big scholar. He happened to be from Bengal. In this way, 6 Goswamis, they were immediate disciples of Lord Chaitanya, and Lord Chaitanya's instruction to them, directly gave instruction to Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami and Ramananda Rai. So one of the Goswamis, Sanatana Goswami, the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is instructing at Benares. So his proposition was that some people, my neighborhood people or my dependents, government officers, they call me as a learned scholar, Pandit. Of course, it is a system in India that a Brahmin is addressed as a Pandit because he is supposed to become a learned scholar. Brahmin's business is to study Vedic literatures and teach others also, pathan. He must be scholar and he must make others also scholars, not that he simply remains a scholar. No, that is bad. Brahmin is so liberal that he wants to make others also scholars. Pathan, jajan. Jajan means worshipping the Lord, and jajan means helping others. Priest, priestly business. Priest means he helps the householders how to become Krishna conscious. Purohit means one who does welfare activities for the householders. Purohit. The jajan, pathan, and dana pratigraha. Brahmin business is to take charity from his disciples, followers, and again spend it for Krishna's service. So, these 6 kinds of business is for the Brahmins, and they are supposed to be very learned. Panditji. Brahman's position is Pandit. So he was called Pandit, and he was actually Pandit. But he presented himself as a fool, although he was learned. He presented himself, my dear Lord, people say that I am very learned, but actually I do not know what I am, where from I have come, why I am suffering. First of all, we do not know that we are suffering in every state. Why you are using this fan? Because you are suffering. Because the excessive heat we cannot tolerate, suffering. Similarly, in the winter season, this wind will be another suffering. We have to close the doors tightly so that air may not come. Now the air is counteracting suffering. And in other season, the same air will be suffering itself. So, the air is the cause of suffering, and it is a so-called cause of happiness also. Actually, we are simply suffering. That we do not know. But we get information from Lord Krishna that this place is dukkhalayam asasatam. It is a place for miseries. You cannot expect any happiness. That is our foolishness. That is our foolishness. We are trying to adjust things to become happy, But we are so foolish that we do not know there cannot be any happiness. This is called ignorance. This is called ignorance. That what Bhagavad says,